Now, you might argue that it is still easy, or at least easier for the rich to be happy, right? Because at the end of the day, wealth and power can bring respect, while the poor people are in no position to be noticed. Also, the rich are much more financially capable to satisfy wants. So, what is the principle of happiness for the poor then? Well, let's have a look at what the ancient sages can tell us. I think, the first problem with being poor is the feeling of unworthiness and subordination. Well, to be honest, as a very ordinary person myself, without anything special worth mentioning, if I walked into a room full of powerful and wealthy people, how do you think that I would feel? I would probably feel intimidated, because I have nothing that makes me on par with these people. And that is me losing my sense of personal pride. But the ancient sages were very different. They were free from this kind of terror because they understood what real fortune is. So we'll explain this from three different aspects. How a real person deals with poverty and power. What is the correct view towards material and fake honor? And eventually, what does honor really mean? Let's have a look. Now, Confucius pointed out in a very blunt and simple way. He said, a scholar whose mind is set on truth and who is ashamed of bad clothes and bad food is in fact not fit to be discoursed with. Well, I would say this is quite a serious statement. Even if a person is a professional truth seeker, Confucius wouldn't bother talking to him if he feels inferior just because of his low living standard. A person like that is not a real man and is not real truth seeker. So what Confucius means is that the sense of personal pride should not be affected by the economic condition, although we need it. But we shouldn't value our clothes as high as ourselves, right? We shouldn't value the food that we eat as high as ourselves. Clothes and food are external things, and it's not external things that receive respect. It is the person, it is us. So this is really the first step to make the poor happy before any technical discussion of making money or, getting a promotion at work or things like that. But of course, it's not easy, not as easy thing to do at all, because we're so used to the simple metric of worthiness, which is wealth and power. And even if we know that this is a naive metric, we simply cannot help using it as a measurement of success, simply because many others do. And there is a huge psychological pressure for being unsuccessful. To teach us what to do, Confucius set a role model for us with one of his students, Zhong You, also known as Zi Lu. You probably remember this name from Lecture 1. So this is how Confucius appraised Zhong You. He said, dressed himself in a tattered robe quilted with hemp, yet standing by the side of men dressed in furs and not ashamed. It is Zhong You who is equal to this. He has no jealousy and no entreaty. What can he do but what is good? So we notice that, when Zhong You stand beside someone who is noticeably wealthier and more powerful than him, there is not a slightest disturbance in his mind. But I think the rest of us could feel very uncomfortable, at least I do, and sometimes even shameful. We might either be jealous of the rich or, entreat them for something. But a real man doesn't value these material difference. A real man generates confidence from his principles. A real man knows that honor does not depend on material possession, but great personality. So the question is, when we walked into a room full of rich and powerful people, why are we intimidated in the first place? In other words, why do we lose our sense of pride? Why do we feel the need to make ourselves on par with these wealthy and powerful people? What's the reason for that? I think it really warrants us to dig deeper into this query so that we can be free from this mental pressure once and for all, hopefully. You see, the poor feel unhappy about their consumption, not only because it is difficult for them to satisfy their material wants, but also because they cannot reach a higher social standing. We're intimidated because we feel that we have no place in the room full of wealthy people. Likewise, in a society, we fear that we receive no respect and that anyone can step on us. So quite naturally, we would crave for secure social standing, personal pride, and honor. But the thing is, who is going to give you that honor? And who is going to grant you the access to social standing? Who is it? Is this something that can be handed to us like a piece of gold? We need to think about this. Mencius reminded us that it is, natural, very natural to desire for honor. But we don't need to look beyond ourselves to acquire it. We don't need somebody else to make us honorable. For example, someone can call you a great person at some point, but when the situation changes, he can also call you a fool. So which one is it? If the honor we're looking for must be given by somebody, then it is not a good honor. If it can be given to us, it can be taken away from us as well. Don't you think? I guess quite naturally, we usually think that honor, social standing, and pride have to come from the outside. They either take the form of wealth, or a title, or clothes, a social connection, or a country club, or things like that. So all of these things are very common in two ways. First of all, they're all external things. And second, there is uncertainty in them. For instance, investment can evaporate. An honorable title can be revoked. Clothes can become out of fashion. Social connection can change. Country club can be closed down. So, for a man who is, really noble in himself, how can such a, temporary and uncertain honor be worth of anything? These external things are, they're okay. They're fine on their own. But a man who is able to accumulate, extraordinary wealth, he must have some kind of unusual talent that deserve recognition. A man who is highly connected in the business world must also possess some kind of interpersonal skills and be of value to many people. We do recognize that these external representations act as a proxy, if you like, of a person's honor and talent, and sometimes we do make a great deal of inferences about a man through observing his wealth and social position. But here's the thing. If the honor and talent are genuine, then wealth and social position will follow suit. Therefore, a real man only has to worry about cultivating his own virtue, and increasing his ability and skill set, and should not be begging for recognition.